Patrick, where would you like to start? Do you want to start with the
Let's
Twins?
let's start with the good news. Let's start with the Wild with their biggest
Okay.
win of the season, wouldn't you say? A very good Dallas team comes to town. They're behind 1-0 all night, and then they finally rally and defeat them 3-2. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Is considering the injuries to their stars, is Gus the Bus their MVP?
Oh, he very well might be.
Having come back from
Yeah.
a lousy last season. And
Yep.
as I recall, such experts as myself questioning even re signing him and are they going to get rid of him? And of course, the fact that Wallstead can't play, or I don't know if he's playing better in Des Moines or not, but he became exceedingly valuable. And how much is the Flower playing now? About one out every 4 or 5 instead of one out every three.
If that. If
Mm.
that. They're riding Gus to the finish line here, basically.
Do we have a theory as to what was the bounce back, or is it just like relief pitchers, goalies? Unless you're an all-time great,
Yeah.
you're very inconsistent. Sometimes you're wonder. Sometimes you're Jake Allen of one year, and the next year you can't stop a volleyball.
I
So
think it helped a lot that he took his off-season conditioning much more seriously last
okay,
summer than the summer before. I guess he came into camp a year ago not in great shape, and
did
it sort of cost him. And I think that there was a come to Jesus discussion before going into last summer about not doing that again.
does he go back to Scandinavia in the summer and
Sweden.
play golf and
I think he goes home to
Sweden and
Sweden. Yeah.
yeah, and probably plays golf every day and hangs out. Is he a family man? I presume he
Yep.
is.
Just had a kid. I think he's got 2 kids now.
Okay, well, that a tendency
Yeah.
to, but yeah, the fact that he's chosen to play very good again certainly has made a difference this year because last year he was what statistically he was terrible last year, right?
Yeah, I had a really bad year for him.
Mm-hmm.
So
What
yeah, you might be right.
did
You
they
might be right.
sign him for? What? How long did they sign him in this deal? Usually it's longer and it's team friendly or not? Is it? Do we know?
This might be year 2 of a 3-year contract.
Oh,
Something like
he'd already been signed. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, something
So.
like that.
Hmm. They signed him after his good season, and then he had a bad season, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. He
Well,
got happy.
yeah. Well. Anyway, yeah, that was a huge win. Now they're pretty well in the playoffs. It's just a question of can you hang with either Winnipeg or Las Vegas, and it's not impossible. You steal the opener, and nobody knows what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, well, and I also think the key question is this: when, if Eric Sinek and more importantly Kaprizov are coming back.
I thought Kaprizov might play Wednesday. Is that not true?
It's what we've heard that he might, but it's not confirmed. And until I actually see him on the ice, I'm not sold. But if he comes back and he's played essentially, Pat, 3 games since Christmas. If he
Yes.
can come back and be a semblance of himself, they're going to be in okay shape. But that's a big assumption too. I mean, he hasn't played in forever, and he's coming back from surgery.
Yes, we know what his deal was, even though they didn't say what it was, a groin problem, groin surgery, perhaps, groin muscle. But did we ever figure out what X lower body was?
Broke his leg.
Oh, he did. Okay. They just broke his leg. Not they're saying not in the Four Nations Cup. They're trying to make you say it was in practice the
They're
next
not
day
even
or something.
saying they're not even bothering to
So,
say. But I
uh,
mean, it's clear that when he went there, he was hurt, and I think that
mhm.
that just sped up the break probably.
I don't think GM Guerin would like to be bad mouthing the Four Nations Cup, though, since he was one of the founders of it, basically, and
Yeah,
chose the team, right?
yeah.
Chose the U.S. team. So they're never going to do that again, though, are they?
Well, they're scheduled to in like 3 years, but the thing is, it's the timing. You cannot do it in February. You can do
No.
it in the fall going into the season, or I guess it's still summer, but you cannot play that thing in February because now we're seeing it's going to take a huge toll on the playoffs, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, and
It's soccer like that.
just name your all stars and go on.
Get this one.
Have a little banquet some night and name your all stars, and
Next
then go
year,
back. What?
next year they're going to the Olympics, and because the Olympics aren't like sanctioned by the National Hockey League, they're going to play an All-Star game.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
do both. It's
And then
ridiculous.
when are the Olympics? February, end of February, or what?
Most of February, right? Like 2 weeks in February.
Usually you get the hockey done in 2 weeks, though, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean the whole tournament is 16 days, but I mean the whole Olympics, but I think they get it done in 10 or 11 days or something. But
Yep.
your team's going to have to go practice for a while beforehand. So is it a 3 week break then, basically?
I
Ooh,
don't even know. Probably
I tell you
with an
what,
All-Star game.
there's no sport that demands more of its elite players than hockey, is there? Man
It's
alive.
soccer like. It's soccer
Yeah.
like in the sense that you've got your league, but then you yank guys, the best players from your league, to play in these specialty tournaments.
Yeah, it's and unlike soccer, if you're playing an exhibition game against Trinidad, you can go over there and run, pretend like you're running up and down the field. In hockey, you got to actually work at it, so it's not too good. But anyway, when push comes to shove, Boldy's had a hell of a year, hasn't he?
Yes, when he plays
Yeah,
like he did yesterday, he's fantastic.
yeah. And Rossi's become a player, and so they got, if they get the stars back, they're okay, right?
I think so. Like,
Hmm.
but the problem too is this trip that they just came back from, right? They
Yes.
lose to the Devils in a shootout. They played fine. They lose to the Rangers in OT in a game where they didn't play well. And then, I don't know if you saw Friday night's game
Yeah.
against the Islanders, they just don't show up. And it's like, how do you not show up for that game?
I don't know, but the lowly Islanders are hot now. They beat Ovi 4-1 too, after beating us 4-1. But Ovi got his goal,
Oh, we
so
don't care.
that's all anybody cares about. Ovi got his goal. So
Yep.
so what should be our feeling about Ovi? He basically did it in the same number of games as Gretzky too,
He did.
right? It's not
He
like
did.
he did it in a lot more games.
Yep.
He's I mean, it is a fantastic season, but and I guess I can't get on him for being a buddy of Putin's because, if you're a Russian and you got family in Russia, you probably gotta say good things about Putin, right? Kaprizov damn near didn't get back from there when he went the one
Yeah, you don't
summer.
want to
So when
badmouth
the
him.
war started, so I
Greatest
guess you can't.
greatest goal scorer of all time, but certainly not the greatest player. That's still Gretzky. He is.
No, oh God, yes. Yeah, but yeah, Gretzky did Gretzky show up again this time?
Yep. Give a
He
speech.
followed. He followed him. Okay,
Follow him around.
Gretzky. Hmm. So you got to act like you're happy for the guy, right? Even though you might not be.
I think he came off as very genuine. I'll give him that. He did a very good job of passing the torch.
Yes. Assist wise, they can't be very close to each other, right?
No, not no. This is
Not.
pure goal scoring, and that's it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that power play was. I'll never forget. That just watching that power play when five of the best players in the history of the world come out there to start the power play. That's a little bit tough. Curry was, Curry was fantastic. He had to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, wasn't he?
I think he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
What it was: Gretzky, Curry, Messier, Coffee.
Coffee, and then Glenn Anderson
Oh,
was the fifth
yeah.
because they played who played on the back end on the power play. Who
Coffee was the
played?
defenseman.
Yeah, but then they had another the two guys. I guess was it Anderson who played back there? I don't know what they did, but those were the five guys they sent out there with the first unit.
It was
That was
phenomenal, and the
that was a
passing
pretty
from
good.
Gretzky was otherworldly.
Now was Gretzky gone when our guy Smiling Bill took that team to the
Hmm.
finals? Yeah, he was gone by then, right?
Kings. Yep.
The Kings.
August of '89,
Yeah,
got traded to the Kings.
and Mahoney's final team was when?
Bill. No. Bill
Gretzky was still there, right?
Gretzky beat them. That was 80. So they went to the conference finals. Was that 83, 84?
Okay, 84. Yeah, Gretzky
Yeah.
was still there because
I thought you meant
I've
the run
always
to the
talked
finals.
about being up there for that first game, and it was 7-0. And the Kings, I mean, the Oilers received polite applause 7 times from the crowd. I never saw a hockey crowd watch the puck and stay more silent than that crowd back then. Because they weren't playing crazy, goofy music to fire everybody up.
They weren't yelling.
Nobody was screaming during the introductions, and they went out and then scored. Bing, bing, boom, boom. Okay, 1-0, polite applause. Then every head in that arena would go follow the puck. Nobody was, unless they were going back to get a beer. Nobody missed a minute, and it was peaceful. It was fun. That was when hockey was fun. It wasn't loud and screaming. And by the way, okay, I'm happy for the Wild. They're gonna make the playoffs, and who knows what. We got to come up with something outside of "Let's Go Wild." Come on, 20 down. How many years? A quarter century. We missed
Yeah,
one
quarter
year.
century.
So 24 years. We got to have something better than "Let's Go Wild." Come on, come on, come on. Some other chant. We need another chant after 25 years.
Like what?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, there's not a
We've
lot that.
gone wild. Well, we've gone wild. Some damn thing. I don't know. Let's go wild. Annoying
Funny.
little kids chanting "Let's go wild." It drives me crazy.
So as they were down one rip in the second period Sunday, the
Hmm.
place is totally quiet, right?
Yeah,
Because
I heard it. I was
they haven't
watching
scored.
some of it.
Some guy below the press box yells, "Would somebody shoot the puck?"
Was
And
it
it echoes
Such?
throughout the entire building. It was fantastic.
Was it Such? Such is always saying they don't shoot the puck.
He's not wrong. They don't.
Drives him crazy.
They started to yesterday. They finally
Okay.
did it and had a bunch of shots on goal, but early in the game, they were just trying to pass, pass, pass.
This is a different audience, obviously, than you went with at Met Center,
Oh,
because those crusty old guys with the bar jackets from East St. Paul, they would send out a lot of instructions to on what you should be doing there. They were, and if a power play produced no shots, boos would rock the arena back then.
is that the
Now,
biggest
now
change
it,
in crowds, Pat?
huh?
Is that the biggest change in crowds? The North Stars to the Wild feels like it might
Oh
be the
yeah,
biggest
yeah.
change in clientele, I
It
should say.
feels like the parents who were all upset when the North Stars left town have convinced their children, their offspring, their grandkids, if we boo them, they might move to Saskatoon or something like that. So don't be mean to them. We want them to stay. So I don't know, but it's a completely different crowd. Yes, it is. Don't I mean every crowd is louder now, but
Right.
except baseball, it's the same. So, speaking of which, uh, Griffin Jacks, team MVP last year, in my opinion, is kind of off to a slow start here. And relief pitchers have a tendency to be like goaltenders, up and
Mm-hmm.
down. I think he'll be fine, but that was an unfortunate fastball he threw Alvarez, and I think were you watching then when he hit that home run? No, you were at the
I
hockey game,
yeah.
probably. Uh, he basically was asking for the ball back before the ball got to home plate because he knew it was going out. And I think Jeffers talked him into throwing the high fastball because the Jeffers was talking about how it was the right move.
I saw those
And
quotes.
Jax had this disgusted look on his face, like with himself, but maybe also that he knows he should have thrown the pitch he throws 80% of the time, the breaking ball. So
Yeah.
anyway, that was a bad loss. But if if you go out and score a bunch of runs, that doesn't mean you have to stop, right? Not score again for five
No.
innings or something.
And the
That's
Astros pitching ain't great.
no, not what it was
Those
for
last two
sure.
starters were very,
And
very
that guy
poor, I
was
thought.
the Blanco was good last year, but he didn't
Yeah.
pitch that much. But he was bad yesterday.
Yes.
There was yeah, and then they just went into the tank, and it was the kids' home opener yesterday. A lot of on a frozen day. There looked to be about 100 kids there. I would think they were.
Did
You
you see the
should.
crowd?
What'd they announce?
The announced attendance was 14,638 on yeah, it was cold, but it was like it was a gorgeous April
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, I
Whew.
looking at the smattering of crowds, I thought there was about 8,000 people there. I mean, I didn't go and just watching, but
Right.
now, a lot of times they're standing out on that deck and stuff like that. But yeah, they get 36, and then the next 2 days their total attendance is 30,000. So they got some work to do. They're going to Kansas City and for 4, and then they got Detroit comes home. But this is going to be unless they're surprise people and play good. They're gonna end up announcing about 1-7 this year, I guess, at the best.
Hmm.
I think it's they were, they were shooting for 2 last year, didn't quite make it, but I don't see this team having 3.5 months of good baseball in it like they had last year. Do you? I don't like the team. I
It's the
don't
same
like them.
start as last year, I'll say that. 3
The
and
nice
6.
the nice thing is we got 9 games, but we got the new strategy of keep Buxton on his feet seems to be working at this point. He's played all 9 games, and Rocco had 152 or 4 lineups last year. Did I read? And we had a story on it.
Yeah.
I think he's had the same lineup except for catcher about three, 4 times, right?
Yeah.
And the top of it has been the same. So that's a completely new strategy, but. It's not a very good team, I don't think.
What's the obsession with Chris Paddock starting is my question.
I don't know.
Zebby Matthews is ready to come up.
Yes, 4 years. They've invested 4 years in him. Put him in the bullpen. Bring somebody else up to start. He can be your. They got this. Whoever this guy is, McLaughlin or whatever it is. They
He
got
just
him
got
up.
sent down.
They got him. Oh, they what?
Blewett's up. Blewett's coming
Oh,
up.
Blewett. You see what Blewett did his last game? Gave up 3 in the bottom of the ninth, at the bottom of the 7th inning to lose the game.
So he blew it.
So he blew it. So then he gets to come up. Yeah, put Paddock
Yeah.
make him your mop catcher. Put
Yep.
him in the bullpen,
Yep.
and call up Zebby. Let Zebby start. So, or somebody else, Festa or Adams or whatever his name is. I mean Morris. Let's that I didn't. Why don't you have to earn a promotion? If Blewett gives up 3 runs, they blow the game, and now he gets to come to the major leagues just because he's.
Right. And Zebby's earned it, but he put together a great spring. He had a great
Yes.
first start. Like that's the point is he's earned it. Paddock is not the guy, and they're just so stubborn. And what gets me, Pat, is Zebby's their guy. Call him
Yeah.
up. If he's good, you get the credit.
Yes, that's true. And this whole Paddock thing is like, if we're gonna, okay, we could never figure out why they made the trade in the first place. I mean, uh, Rogers wasn't going to break the bank, was he? Taylor Rogers, and uh, then they make the trade. Did Solano come in that trade too? Did Sol-
No, they signed
uh,
him, I think, as a free agent.
who was the other guy in that trade? They got 2 guys in that trade. Oh, Pagan. They got Pagan in him,
Yeah, Pagan. You're right.
and but I don't understand what the fascination is with him, and the fact that he's gone what 4, and then what was the first one? 2 and
Paddock, I've got
2/3,
it right
something like
here.
that.
He 3 1/3 and got
3
hammered
and a
by
third,
the
4.
White Sox, and then
Yes,
4 on Sunday against the Astros.
that's right. He gave up 9 to the White Sox. So
Yep.
I don't get it. Meanwhile, Bailey, we bring Bailey in Saturday for the post game conference there after he went 4 innings. Is this what we got? Is this our
Yeah,
star of the
starters.
game? He went 4 innings.
The starter talks.
Yeah. Well,
But he
even if he
also
even if he sucks,
but he also said, Pat, that before that brutal start against the Cardinals,
he was sick.
he lost 8 pounds and they still
Yes.
started him. Why
Yeah.
did you what are
I
you
don't know why
doing?
they. I don't know why they did that. I heard that on the broadcast. Provis was telling us that he'd been sick. I think it was Provis. Maybe Provis. That was when Provis was gone. I don't know, but but I'd heard it on the telecast that he was sick. Yeah, well, it certainly looked that way. I they've done some puzzling things this year already, and we're only 9 games in.
And supposedly he said, I can start, to which I would never have asked him the question.
No, if you're
All I got to do
sick,
is put you on a scale and say, go back to bed.
yeah. And
Anyway,
there's quite the flu going around the Major League Baseball too. Who did some team they were
oh,
playing and
the
the Red
Reds.
Sox, the Reds had
Francona got it and missed the
got
game.
sick and they had 4 players.
It
Hey,
was the Reds.
congratulations to the Reds. They scored the other day after 4 straight 1-0 losses, which is a world record, right?
Yes, it was a record, I think.
I think maybe watching his hitting attack might have gotten Francona's. Francona's had a lot of health problems the last
It's
couple,
a lot
3
of
years.
stomach problems,
Yes, that's not good. That is not good.
digestive problems, yeah. Hey, Timberwolves. They're beating bad teams now.
Yeah, well, they made hard work of it. I said the key to Edwards making that three to at the buzzer was he couldn't aim. He just threw it in the general direction, and it happened by accident to go in. And then he kind of talked like he did it on purpose that it went in. He threw this hope.
I
What
saw it.
is wrong with this? Do they ever practice an inbounds play? These guys are terrible. Their inbound plays are brutal. They they got 23 coaches. Can't they get one of them to come up with a? You throw it into Edwards, and he gets immediately triple teamed. Well, no kidding. Throw it somewhere else.
Yeah.
But the other thing that's occurred is now that Rudy is playing a lot and getting a lot of rebounds, McDaniels is worthless again because he can't play when Gobert is standing and 4 feet away from the basket and clogging everything up. So
But
I
Gobert's playing
think,
well now, too. So,
yeah, he's playing well, but he takes what McDaniels was doing when he was hurt
yeah.
and when he first came back and wasn't playing enough. He's not doing that anymore. He's not getting to the basket. He's not, he's now back standing in the corner. I don't think he scored a point from the field the last game, right? I think he was. I think he made 2 free throws. That was it.
I think you might be right. Yep.
Because when they started playing good and had the good streak there, he was their MVP. He was their best player. So
Yep.
they haven't figured out how to do it yet when him and Gobert are playing together.
No, that's a problem. That's
Yeah,
but I will say this: if Gobert's going to play like he's currently playing,
yeah,
I
you
think
got to
your
play him.
chances to win in the playoffs definitely go up. And have you seen the standings now? Like
Yes,
there's a four-way tie. It's crazy.
yeah, 4-way tie. I mean, the presuming well, they could get beaten Milwaukee tomorrow night. That's for sure. Is it tomorrow night or it's not tonight?
Tomorrow
It's
night,
tomorrow
Tuesday
night,
night,
right? Yeah, and
Bucks.
then they go to Memphis. But that Memphis game basically Thursday night decides your season, doesn't it? Whether you're going to be in the
Right.
play-in or not, that game decides. And Memphis, they lost the first 3 after they fired the coach, but now they've won 2 games in a row. And apparently, the word is, and I think you guys have talked about this, the job basically said, I can't play for this guy, so he got him fired.
Oh, yeah, that's very plausible.
So isn't that nice that you get fired by a moron who ended up basically getting suspended for an entire season, and he's a complete goofball, but you ended up getting fired because they're in such a. But that's the NBA. The players
Right.
control that. Players control. If Ant goes in and says I can't play for Finch anymore, Finchie's out of luck, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Fortunately,
I
I think
think.
Ant does like Finch.
Oh, they
So
like each other. I think
yeah.
they like him, and he knows that he can tweak him a little bit, but he can't come out and say I don't want him taking that many dumb shots. So, and I mean, he's hinted at dumb shots down the
Oh
stretch,
yeah.
but he doesn't flat out call them out. So,
Finch is pretty smart about that. He knows that he can get mad, but he knows exactly how far he can walk that up to a line, and he rarely like crosses it, and he rarely, I think, names names.
he's apparently a renowned baiter of the referees. That he barks at the referees about as much as anybody in the league, but he doesn't make it real obvious. He
Really?
doesn't. He doesn't.
Oh,
But somebody was telling me that like they, they asked a couple of referees and they named him and the guy in Denver,
Malone.
who Malone, who's obvious with it
Yeah,
all
he
the
yells.
time, as the worst. So I don't know if that's true or not, but if I mean Finchie's jabbering a lot, but he does it when the guy's near, and he does it in a conversational tone.
That's interesting. Yeah, I knew he complained. I would not think that he would fall in the upper echelon of coaches who complain though, or who
Uh, that's
berate
uh,
officials.
that's what
So
I
the Wolves
was
got
told.
Ant, they got Finchy.
Yeah, they got
No wonder the
Ant
referees hate him.
next tee. Ant's only gotten one tee since was suspended, right?
Yep,
Yep. But he'll get one more before it's over. Probably in Memphis on Thursday, right?
which would
I'm
put him
I'm
out
I'm
of
predicting an Ant tee on Thursday in Memphis.
which would put him out of Friday's game against the
Yes,
Nets.
against the Nets at home. Now they do if they can go 1-1 in Milwaukee and Memphis. They do have two teams that are coming to town hoping to lose. So now you can't even when you're hoping to lose, you can't always do that against our. The trouble with the when you're playing Philadelphia though is like when they try even when they don't have their players, so they can make things uncomfortable. But I think the Nets and Utah for sure that will scrounge up some players for Sunday that you've never heard of to try to make sure they lose that game.
Yeah, because they accidentally beat the Wolves in the game that Ant was suspended for, and the Jazz
Yes.
were not pleased about that. That was a bad win for the Jazz. To use your
Yes.
term, not a bad loss. It was a bad win.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And let's give a little recognition to the Hopkins girl, Paige Beckers.
Yep.
Boy, did they breeze through that Final Four, huh? Combined 57 points. They beat UCLA, which was the number one overall seed, by a record number of points. And then they beat South Carolina by 23 last night. So she gets her championship in her fourth Final Four. Sarah Strong, the freshman, is fantastic. And Ozzie Fudd, who was I think they have three number one recruits in their class at
Mm-hmm.
I think Strong. I know Page and Strong were, and I think Fudd might have been. She was one or two, for sure. But she missed last year with a torn ACL. She came back and was the MVP of the Final Four. But you could have taken any one of those three. And anyway, she gets her win, and she'll probably be the number one draft choice of Dallas in the WNBA. And her and Caitlin, the two Midwest girls, will have a nice rivalry.
That could be fun.
Yeah, what's interesting though is you play your college season, which is I think 39 games. I think they were 36-3 or something like that. You play that college game season, you get drafted in April, and you start playing in May. There's not much rest time
Mm-mm.
for those for the
Well, Caitlin Clark
women
played,
college.
yeah, continually for what,
Yes.
most of a year. So,
Now they've also signed Paige up as a official spokesservice person for the that unrivaled 3-on-3 league. So Caitlin didn't play this year; she rested
yep.
in the 3-on-3 league. But Beckers is going to have to play in the 3-on-3 league too. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
she will she is going to go about 2 years without having any time off
Whew.
at all.
So, Caitlin, a better scorer, and Paige, a better all around
Yeah,
player. Is that the correct
Caitlin.
scouting report?
Caitlin spends a lot of spends almost all her energy on the offensive end, and
Yeah.
who's ever can't play is who she guards, and defensive end, and then the Beckers is a very good defender, so that's the difference. But Caitlin's definitely a more explosive offensive player.
Sell me a car before we get done here, sir.
I gotta sell you a Buick, man. I don't know. You watch it. If you were watching the women's championship games, you saw some ads from Buick, and these cars are fantastic. This collection of SUVs is amazing. And now in Apple Valley, right now, huge stock of SUVs, Buicks, 24, 25. No effective tariffs on these. They're on the lot right now. The price is wonderful. The factory rebates are tremendous, and the interest rates are very, very low. Right now, get out to Apple Valley, buy the car before all this other nonsense start, and get yourself a Buick. Look at some of these ads. You can go online and look at some of these ads. These Buicks are fantastic. You can also go to the Valley Group of GM dealers website and see their inventory, which is extensive, not expensive, extensive. Jim Paul and Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers in Apple Valley.
All right, Patrick, we'll talk to you on Wednesday.
All right, sir. Thanks, Judd.
All right, bye bye.